Episode 12, Poisoned. It's early in the morning, as Oswald Cobblepot walks amongst the burnt cylinders with several of his men. Standing next to Cobblepot is a tall, thin man, with a bald head and a crown of dark gray hair. He wears circular-rimmed glasses and has a perpetual sneer on his face.
Such a shame. I do so hate to waste resources. Fugit, how much will this entire situation cost us?
By my conservative estimation, $20 million.
Oh dear, most unfortunate. But I do believe that we can use this to expand the research and development branches of the company. Perhaps even look into our distribution plan. Fugit, is there anything salvageable from this site?
Most of the chemicals seem to have burnt from the explosion.
What about the physical materials? Surely something survived.
I don't have any information at this time.
Then by all means, let's poke around. A little dirt never hurt anyone.
Of course, sir.
What was positioned in this area?
One of the vats with a concentrate of plants, mixed with aminoproteins. It was one of the chemicals used for the new headache medicine.
Interesting.
What is it, sir?
This mound seems to be slightly larger than the others.
Perhaps more debris simply fell in this area.
A good attempt at a solution, but unfortunately it doesn't cover all of the facts. Let's see what it is we have here.
A woman.
Extraordinary.
The woman lying in the cinders is the terrorist Pamela Isley. As the sunlight reaches her body, her skin begins to turn a vivid green, and her hair darkens to a deep and rich red.
She seems almost completely untouched. Fugit, contact our biohazard crew. Tell them that we have a new specimen for them.
Lambda team, we need to extract a specimen.
A few moments pass, and several men in hazmat suits sweep the area. They remove the surrounding debris, leaving just underlying dirt and Isley exposed. As the men are about to grab her, several large roots erupt from the ground and create an intricate network of vines across her body, covering her in a long, green, leafy gown.
Take extra care with this one, gentlemen. I assure you, she is most valuable to me.
Approximately 2 days later, an undisclosed research facility used by Oswald Cobblepot's company. Cobblepot walks down the long white corridor. Glass windows reveal a series of experiments taking place, from the testing of new metal alloys to enhanced chemical delivery systems. Numerous scientists walk past. Cobblepot reaches his assistant, Fugit.
What are the results of the tests on the young woman we found?
Her name was Pamela Isley. We believe she's the one responsible for the destruction of the facilities across the city. Everything about her is quite complicated and interesting. If you follow me this way, sir, I can explain. Isley has had her biochemistry and DNA permanently altered. The plant cell structure and DNA that was part of the amino acid mixture bounded with her cells and changed the structure of her body. Her skin now releases a plethora of pheromones that we've only ever discovered in plants.
What's the effect of the pheromones?
It varies greatly depending on her mood and mental state.
Do you mean to suggest that she actually controls their release?
Yes, we've had several setbacks in the discovery of this fact.
I see. Well, I suppose there may be some use to us.
That isn't all, sir. She's also been able to release spores and excrete plant venom. We've incurred several setbacks to discover this.
What exactly happened here, Fugit?
When we began to initially test her, we were unaware as to the extent of her transformation. As a result, several liberties were taken that should have been avoided. Several of the male scientists were affected by her pheromones. She attempted to break out and in the process killed the scientist by kissing them.
What about precautions? Have you taken any?
We have moved her to a sealed chamber so that her toxins cannot affect us. In addition, whenever we perform any tests now, we use hazmat suits.
It appears that this pretty young lady has thorns. How is her mental condition?
In my frank opinion, sir, she seems delusional. Since we collected her from the destroyed facility, she has hardly said anything. But the few times she has spoken, she has said, and I quote, "The plants, they're crying out to me, begging for help."
My dear, she does indeed sound quite troubled. I would most like to speak with her. Find out a little bit more for myself.
That would be ill-advised, sir. She is incredibly dangerous.
Nonsense. I can handle myself. But to make you feel better, do we happen to have a potted plant in the facility?
I suppose. Give me a moment, sir. It appears the only available plant is a small aloe plant. Will that suffice?
I believe so. Now, let's head to Miss Isley's chamber.
The two walk down the hall toward what looks like a large, repurposed barometric chamber. Inside, sitting on a small white bench, in a massive dress, literally made of green leaves, is Pamela Isley. Her deep red hair twirls above her head, as if alive, and she stares out toward the glass window with glowing purple eyes. Cobblepot puts on a white hazmat suit before entering the small chamber. In one hand, he carries a small cane, and in the other, a potted aloe plant.
Good morning, my dear. And how are we today? Oh, not in a very talkative mood, Miss Isley. But I did so wish to talk with you. Can I not persuade you?
Isley is dead. I'm a physical representation of nature.
Very interesting indeed. Tell me, do you know why Miss Isley decided to attack my company?
Because of the genocide Cobblepot Industries inflicted on plant life across the globe. You'll pay for your crimes.
You'll forgive me if I'm not that impressed by your rhetoric. I found that words mean very little, unless there is action to back them up.
Cowardly meat sack. You may think me contained in this chamber, but that won't always be the case.
Idle threats, my dear, idle threats.
Cobblepot turns as if to walk away. Ivy raises her left hand, and the vines wrapped around her body grow thick and begin to extend from her wrist, as if to grab the older man. With a sly smile, Cobblepot turns and begins to break one of the stalks of the aloe plant with his hand.
Stop! Don't hurt the plant!
Most interesting. All I needed to do was harm a simple plant. You see, my dear, I'm merely punishing the rash outburst of yours. I always come prepared.
Leave the plant alone.
I'm afraid that depends entirely on your behavior. You see, I need assurances that you'll behave. I need to know that you won't harm any more of my workers.
Fine.
Very good. Even the most difficult obstacle can be surmounted with calm reason. Fugit, make a note of the connection she shares with plants. It is most likely a result of the pheromone she excretes. Do your best to learn as much as you can before it's too late.
Too late.
I suspect our guest is merely biding her time, mustering her energy for an escape. I imagine that is the reason she has been so quiet. Whatever she is planning, it's used a great deal of her mental faculties. Have the staff prepared to evacuate at a moment's notice.
What do you think she's planning?
I haven't the faintest idea, but I would like to minimize the expense incurred to me.
The research facility. Later that night, a loud rumble fills the halls.
It's Isley. Initiate the evacuation procedure.
The rumbling grows louder, as if something massive is moving to the ground, as Fugit reaches Isley's chamber. The ground begins to tremble more and more powerfully. Suddenly, inside Isley's chamber, the ground erupts as massive tree roots begin to break through the floor and puncture the ceiling of the facility, creating a massive hole. Isley gracefully grabs the side of the root and rises with it out of the facility.
Well, it appears that the former Miss Isley has a bit of a dramatic flair.
Shouldn't we do something to capture her?
Not yet. I imagine the young lady has a few bones to pick, or at the very least needs to vent her frustration. Unfortunately, Gotham City will have to suffer the brunt of her attack, but sooner or later, someone will stop her, at which point we will graciously offer to collect her and look into a way to cure her. At a modest fee to the city, of course.
The GCPD. The police are running wild, trying to respond to the various reports of earthquakes, foundation cracks, and fires. Gordon loudly directs the men, as Bullock enters, walking with a cane.
We have reports of the people trapped in the apartment building on 5th Avenue. I need Ramirez and Montoya to assist the fire squad.
Got it.
Since Bullock has been regulated to desk duty, we need help evacuating the north side of the city. The fires are spreading fast, and I need volunteers faster.
Hey! I ain't dead over here!
You can count on me. Got it. And me.
Good, now get going. As for the rest of you, the phones are ringing off the hook, and we're spread thinner than hot butter at a bakery. Remember, now isn't the time to crack under pressure. So buckle down and buck up everyone.
Excuse me, I'm sorry,
Mother of God! Then what are you doing here?
I thought I could help out. It was just a thought.
Hey, look, I appreciate the effort, I do, but right now, if you ain't got a bed, you're just better off at home.
There has to be something I can do to help out.
Oh, the phones are ringing off the hook. We don't have the manpower to answer all of them. You help with that if you want. Darcy over there can show you the ropes. Maybe you can help with some of the filing, too.
Thanks. I do appreciate it. Harvey, you can tell me. Do you know what's causing all of this?
Earthquakes or something. We're still feeling the aftershocks.
Now get to the phones, would ya? Right.
A few hours later, the earthquakes have subsided. For the most part, the fires in the city have been put out, and peace is restored. The Batman runs along the rooftops, using a small rectangular device. The device has a green-like radar that shows a purple trail.
And what exactly are you looking for, sir?
The police think the seismic activity was a result of a natural slip in the tectonic plates. But my sonar readings from the cave and predictions based on past geological data indicate that we shouldn't experience an earthquake for several years. I think something else caused the earthquake.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
There's a strange chemical that I picked up from the Batmobile. I'm following the trail on foot. It seems to be most concentrated in a path. Regardless, shouldn't you still be in bed, Alfred?
Fiddlesticks! The only thing that comes from idle behavior is wasted time.
I'll be sure to remember that the next time I get injured.
What chemical are you tracking?
It's a pheromone. Chlorophyll-based.
Forgive me if my chemistry studies are a bit rusty, but isn't chlorophyll only found in plants? If you're tracing a path, does that not mean you're tracking a walking plant?
Now do you see that this is worth my time?
Indeed I do, sir. What could possibly be causing such a chemical?
I'm not sure.
Oh dear, this is interesting, sir.
What is it?
So far, the path we followed corresponds to a plot of emergency phone calls made during the tremors. It's as if the seismic wave was traveling along the same path.
That's not how seismic waves work. They typically emanate from a particular hypocenter.
More evidence that this is not a natural earthquake, but something else entirely.
This isn't good.
What is it, sir?
The path ends at the Thomas and Martha Memorial Park.
I fail to see the significance.
It's the trees. They're massive. The entire park has been overrun with plant life.
How is that even possible?
This is the source of the earthquakes. The roots of these plants and trees must be enormous. As they're growing, they're shifting the very ground.
Perhaps you should wait for the police, or Miss Gordon and Master Grayson.
Whatever caused this chain of events has to be inside the park. I need to stop it before it starts up again.
Do be careful.
Aren't I always? Inside the jungle-like conditions of the Thomas and Martha Wade Memorial Park, thick foliage has made the area extremely humid. Plants and tree coverage have made the ground bumpy and uneven due to the vast network of roots. Batman carefully maneuvers the forest. I've never seen plants like these before.
Now is not the time to take up gardening as a hobby, sir.
Some of these resemble exotic flowers not native to the country. Others look almost as if they're ancient. I should collect a sample to better understand how they could sprout up so quickly. I kneel down to collect a small sample of plant. From the ground, 2 large vines emerge and ensnare me. I struggle against the vice-like grip. I manage to grab from my utility belt an explosive batarang and use it to dislodge myself. Landing on the ground, another vine immediately comes to ensnare me again. I jump just out of reach of the vines before it has a chance to grab me. I throw a larger explosive batarang at the tree nearby, causing it to tumble with a thunderous smack.
What was all that?
The plants seem to have a symbiotic relation with one another. When one plant is harmed, they all seem to respond in return.
Most unusual behavior. All the more reason to tread carefully.
Agreed. I emerge in a large clearing in the forest. Sitting in the center of a throne-like flower is Pamela Isley. Her hair flows around her, and vines creep all around her. Also surrounding her are a group of plant-like, green-skinned people. In a dazed, confused state, they grunt and growl viciously. Isley, what happened to you?
Batman, you survived the explosion. Such a pity. Poor Pamela Isley is no more. I am so much more than she ever was. I am nature incarnate, the very life of all plants.
You've got a martyr complex is all. What did you do to this forest?
I simply gave it the guidance it needed to reach its full potential. Now all the plants are one with each other. I can feel my babies growing, becoming stronger. Soon all of Gotham will know just how powerful nature can be. I will overthrow the human species and leave only the plants behind.
That's not gonna happen as long as I'm alive.
You say that now, but soon you'll see my side of things. You see these people? They all thought like you, but then I helped them see reason. I opened their eyes to the truth. Like bamboo, my thoughts spread and they understood their role. I've taken on a new name, Poison Ivy. And like my namesake, I'm just as virulent. Now be a good dear, roll over, and die for mommy. That mask may slow the effects of my spores, but it won't stop their progress. Soon you'll be just like them.
I hurl several explosives at the plants.
My babies! No!
The plant people attack.
Give it up, Ivy!
You think a little fire can stop me? No human can resist me, especially a man. Give in, Batman. There's nothing you can do to stop me. You're mine.
No! I won't give up. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman!
I break free of several vines.
You may have control over the plants, but that means you feel their pain too. And I can show you true pain.
No! My babies. My babies.
Alfred, contact the GCPD. Let them know that Ivy's been captured. I'm leaving her at the east entrance to the park. Tell them to send a fire crew as well.
What if she wakes up?
I'm sedating her. She'll be asleep for hours.
The GCPD.
GCPD, what's your emergency? Downed power lines. I'm gonna need your name and address. Thank you, Miss Cobb. We'll have a crew over there in no time. For right now, stay away from the line. What do we have? How did the police not do it? This is ridiculous.
Inside the filing cabinet, Harvey Dent has found a large folder containing information on Oswald Cobblepot.
He has to be stopped.
The Cobblepot Industries Research Facility.
Officer Bullock, so good to see you bring the patient yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm just following the mayor's orders. Ivy's too dangerous to be put in the Arkham or Blackgate. Personally, I get the heebie-jeebies around her.
Quite right, Detective.
Do you really think I can come up with a cure for this one? I mean, how exactly do you make a plant, whatever you want to call it, thingy, into a human again?
The wonders of medical science never cease to amaze. We may not have a cure at the moment, but I believe with some serious study, we will be able to treat her.
I hope so. The last thing this city needs is another freak walking around causing chaos.
I couldn't agree more, Detective. Not to worry. She's in good hands now.